You know, when you shame people, especially when it comes to sex and sexuality, that can lead to some really destructive things. And we are trying to move into a different direction because we already know that shaming people regarding sexuality and sexual desires is not the best thing and produces some very negative realities. What up, what up? I'm back at it again with another video. As I told you, I'm going to be doing way more reaction videos to things concerning sex and sexuality and gender. So I saw this video on the timeline going viral, and it's a video from World Star Hip Hop of this mom finding her son's sex toy. So let's get into the video.
Jaden's room, and under the bed I found this, which is a squishy, sticky thing that I think is a pussy. And I think he's been sticking his little penis in it and using this. His Stroke It Right jack-off cream. And sticking his little penis in his fake little pussy.
Okay, so I'm not sure about the context of this video, whether this video was recorded to send to like maybe like another family member or like maybe their husband, partner. I don't understand like who this was sent to, but somehow it wound up on the internet. It wound up on World Star Hip Hop, even if it was a video just to be shared amongst like family and stuff like that. As you can tell in terms of her tone and even the language that she uses, this really comes off like she's trying to humiliate her son in certain ways. And you know, she uses the word his little penis. There's this like infantilization that's happening in this video of like her son becoming a man, her son being a teenager and having a sexuality, having sexual desires and sexual drive, sexual urges, and the video comes off like she's trying to humiliate him and laugh at him. What I want to say is like this toy was found in his room and also underneath his bed. So like it definitely feels like he put it there on purpose so that it wouldn't be found. It wouldn't be a place where anybody could just stumble over it. And yet, you know, she was in his room probably helping him to clean or something like that. And this was stumbled across, you know? So it really makes me feel like there's like this invasion of privacy. And I think that a lot of parents, regardless of race, definitely have a hard time sort of like overstepping and establishing boundaries in the first place, that you are separate from me. Like I am your parent, I am your guardian, but you're a separate human being than I am. And this is really like part of that. Like this really kind of like underscores that. And it's hard to watch things like this when, you know, parents have a hard time accepting that their children are not small children anymore, that they are preteens, that they are teens, that they are young adults, and they have a sexuality. And I'm kind of proud of Jaden because he had the ingenuity to buy a sex toy and also lube that looked like water-based lube. This is like good. This is like sex ed. Like that means you know some stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And also there's like a level of like sort of like responsibility too when you buy a sex toy. It's like you are learning what you like about your body and you're taking things into your own hands in terms of like getting your needs met for, you know, like pleasure in your body. And what I've learned having sex toys is that I don't have to have sex with other people unless I want to. And I think that's a really good lesson for teenagers and for boys in general. Like, yeah, like it might feel good and you can sort of like provide that feeling for yourself until you know someone enough or you have a deep enough connection with someone to want to have sex with someone else. So I think that like that is very cool. First of all, that he has a sex toy. I don't know how old he is, but he's a teenager. That is really cool. cool. So hats off to Jaden if he happens to see this, you know, that is really cool to me. And like, I think about also like some of her words when describing the sex toy, you know, it has a lot of like shaming in there. There's a lot of like humiliating and like, oh, this fake pussy and things like that. And when I think back to my previous video about sex toys and trying out sex toys and doing a review of it on this channel, you know, there is so much language around sex toys. Oh, why would I get a sex toy when I could get the real thing? Or like, there's so much like shaming, like, oh, you're some weird freak for having sex toys. And that is like really, really sex negative, and it has like this effect of like demonizing sexuality and sexual desires. You know, when you shame people, especially when it comes to sex and sexuality, that can lead to some really destructive things. And we are trying to move into a different direction because we already know that shaming people regarding sexuality and sexual desires is not the best thing and produces some very negative realities. I think that a lot of parents could do with respecting their children's boundaries a lot better. And if you do happen to be cleaning their room and come upon something that is private and personal, you know, respect that. I think a lot of us have a hard time in families with things like being enmeshed and this idea that we all are the same and we all have to think the same and be the same. And this idea that you cannot have boundaries, especially if I am the older person, especially if I am the parent in this dynamic, because that's really, really toxic. And you're teaching your children that they don't have any boundaries and that they are not deserving of having boundaries and what healthy boundaries look like, you know? I think that shaming makes people want to hide. When people feel ashamed about themselves, especially in regards to sexuality, it makes them want to hide. It makes them want to do things in secret and not be informed and make risky decisions and hurt themselves or hurt other people. And so, yeah, I really don't like this video. I think that, first of all, it shouldn't have been made, even if she was just sending it to like her husband or to a family member or whatever, because you're creating these dynamics where your child will be shamed and you're making fun of your child. So those are some of my initial thoughts on watching this video. Let me know what you think about this video and let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. Peace.